Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to go over some notable Steam news and updates. A pretty interesting stat as far as some games that came out last week. Okay, so the news that I really want to talk about is, man, last week had a bevy of major titles being released. And, you know, if you go on Twitter and you're involved with any of the social media console war section of Twitter, it can be pretty humorous. I wouldn't take it too seriously, honestly speaking. Like, I think a lot of those Twitter accounts are just gimmick accounts that are there to rile people up. I really find it hard to believe that, you know, people are, like, this much invested into a console where, you know, they're meticulously assessing every aspect of a console to make sure that they're validated in their preference being the right preference. But, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't take that stuff too seriously. It's not just consoles. It's like every walk of life where there's rivaling companies that, some people have their allegiances towards Xbox. They have their allegiances towards PlayStation. They have their allegiances towards whatever. It goes also to just specific game franchises that can be seen as competitor to one another, and especially can go for stuff like the Game of the Year awards. But it has been pretty humorous to see people compare HiFi Rush to Forspoken, which is crazy because HiFi Rush available on PC and Xbox. Forspoken is available on PC and PlayStation 5. What's the common denominator there? PC! Oh, that's pretty nice if you have a gaming PC. You could just play both games, but I digress. HiFi Rush is without a doubt a game that has taken me completely by surprise, and I think that's kind of the element that it took HiFi Rush to the next level because it was so unique, because they used an opportunity like Developer Direct, which was gonna be an event where a lot of eyes were on it, and they were like, okay, we can drop a game, and they somehow kept it under wraps long enough that they just announced it, revealed it, boom, it's out on the store, and I think people were just taken aback by that, and the fact that it's available on Game Pass, that people just checked it out, and it was really, really well received. Forspoken, on the other hand, was this game that had so much anticipation, so much buzz, maybe so much anticipation is a stretch, because I did see a lot of people were lukewarm on it, but it had a 2.5-year build-up going back to its initial announcement in June of 2020, and obviously it's a game that had a significant amount of budget attached to it, where where HiFi Rush was a game that, I'm not going to say it was thrown together, but it was kept low-key. It didn't seem like it had this huge marketing push attached to it, and in the case of it not having a marketing push, turned out to be its marketing push. How crazy is that? The fact nobody knew anything about it was kind of what intrigued people. Just so wild how that turns out, but why this works for HiFi Rush is, first of all, Game Pass is a thing. If you're trying to drop a game for the first time and it's like a $30, $40 title, it's gonna be a little bit of a hard sell, but so many people are already Game Pass subscribers that you're just dropping it into a subscription service. Okay, there's an audience of people that are already gonna check it out. Let's say, I'm just gonna throw out an arbitrary number out there. 100,000 people played the game right when it came out. Well, those 100,000 people probably liked the game so much that, let's say 20,000 of them took the time out of their day to also go on social media and be like, yo, this game is awesome. Okay, that's free marketing that is now going to promote this game all across social media. And then, boom, people are going to be like, oh, what's this HiFi Rush game everybody's talking about? Oh, suddenly it's one of the top sellers on Steam as well. You see how, like, one thing parlayed into another, that parlayed into another. Fascinating to see that actually be happening. And I'm not saying every game needs to go the HiFi Rush route. You can't do it. And also, that's because HiFi Rush being released the way that it did was special because it was unique. If it happens all the time, it's gonna lose that luster, it's gonna lose that uniqueness and take nothing away from it. The most important part, more than anything else, is that HiFi Rush was a good game. Dare I say, it was a great game and such a unique game and something nobody saw coming from Tango Gameworks, but nonetheless, what I do want to go to is the recent Steam Charts report covering the week ending January 29, 2023 highlights the top-selling video games in terms of revenue. Despite not featuring many unexpected titles, the omission of Forspoken from the list is newsworthy. As noted on Game Infinitus, despite its relatively high price point of $70, Forspoken didn't make the top-seller list, being outperformed by the newly released HiFi Rush, which is priced at $30 and also is a part of Xbox Game Pass. You can make the argument that, hey, it being $30 got more people to be like, okay, I'll drop my money on it, whereas Forspoken being $70 pushed people away from actually picking it up. Forspoken also sitting at a mixed reception on Steam, HiFi Rush sitting at an overwhelmingly positive reception on Steam. And let me just say, I don't think this is too much of a stretch at all. Chai and 808, better than Frey and Cuff. Is that a little bit of a stretch, or is everybody on board with me on that? Nonetheless, you could also be of the mindset that, hey, HiFi Rush is a 6 to 7 hour long game, 6 to 8 hour long game. What's the big deal? Yo, not every game needs to be 40, 50 hours, and in the case of HiFi Rush, I was like, okay, I had been playing Forspoken for a while, that HiFi Rush being a 6 to 8 hour game, totally in my wheelhouse, totally something I want to check out. Dead Space Remake also came out, and I'm like, okay, that's not a super lengthy game. I think that these games that are trying to put in a lot of content for the sake of having a lot of content, and I'm not saying Forspoken totally does that, because some of the extra content in that game is pretty good, but, you know, some of it also just seems like there to pout out the game, and I really feel that way about the newer Assassin's Creed games. But let's not go into that diatribe as well. In the case of HiFi Rush, it was a get in, get out type of experience. Great art style, great cutscenes, great character design. Gameplay was unique, it was interesting. Might not be for everyone. Some people might not like the rhythm, music rhythm aspect tied into an action game, but that I thought it worked out pretty darn well. And, again, I don't think that this should be a case of people looking at how HiFi Rush was released and then throwing a blanket statement that every game or a lot more games need to come out like this, because that's not realistic. There are games that absolutely need their promoting and their marketing. Like, no, Square Enix should not develop Final Fantasy 17 for like 10 years behind closed doors and then just drop the game and be like, alright, yo, it's out. They shouldn't do that. HiFi Rush is a very specific example where it works in the context of what it is, in the context of the gaming world and the publisher that's putting it out in Bethesda, who are owned by Microsoft, so it all works together with the Game Pass aspect to it as well. But, you know, I don't think a Sony can do that. I don't think a Sony can even do that with a AA game outside of their AAA games, like a Concrete Genie, for example. I don't think they would be able to drop that game with no subscription service that they're just going to throw it into, unless they decide to put more emphasis attached to PlayStation Plus Extra. So I do disagree with people on that. HiFi Rush was a unique example that you could do this from time to time, but it can't be something that is done all the time, because then it kind of loses that flavor, and it loses that specialness that this game ultimately did bring, where it came out and it was a surprise to everybody. I think that surprise would be lessened if this was happening like pretty regularly. You know, do it maybe 2-3 times at max a year for Microsoft as a publisher, but I wouldn't do it any more than that. But a very effective way to roll out a game, especially a game as quality as HiFi Rush ended up being. And just goes to show, sometimes a lower key release is just gonna resonate with an audience more than a bigger budget release like Forspoken was. And Forspoken is a game that I probably would say at some point check it out when it's at a discounted price, like $20 to $30. Sure, you can buy it then, but otherwise, man, HiFi Rush is also available through Game Pass. Most of you guys just have it, so go play it. I liked it so much that I bought it on Steam, just because I wanted it in my Steam library. I think I'm kind of doing that with Game Pass release. I'm like, yo, if I like a game enough, I'll go out and buy the game on Steam. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what all of you guys think. I think it's just one of the... Based on, like, the timing of when these games were released, I think that really fueled the fire to the, you know, Xbox versus PlayStation thing, which, you know, I try not to get into too much, like, you know, try not to have these allegiances towards plastic boxes. Like, I just think that won't get you anywhere. Play what you like. Don't play what you don't like, and, you know, you can assess interesting stories like this, but that's it. By the way, HiFi Rush, currently 4,400 reviews, 98% positive, which is absolutely staggering for a game that came out of nowhere. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.